15 years ago, Kunlun collapsed, torn apart by an outside force. The Iron Fist, Danny Rand, was powerless to stop it, instead choosing to leave the remnants of the city and go out into the world. It was during this period that Danny Rand would join the Justice League and begin protecting the world from many of its greatest threats. But without Kunlun's leadership, the tournaments continued, and without the Iron Fist, Caldera won the next one. Over the past few years, Caldera's leader, Ozai, had become harsher, almost militaristic in nature, but Kunlun had been there to temper them. Them and the threat of the Avatar, the being who would bounce between every city in each life, a prodigy in all way of keys, a being who could recreate the abilities of every heavenly city, including Kunlun, kept them in line. But the current Avatar had recently died, they weren't around anymore, and the Iron Fist was more preoccupied than ever. So, Caldera moved swiftly. Ozai swept through the continent, searching fruitlessly for the current Avatar, likely a child at the time, before wiping out half the Nomad state in a day. The other heavenly cities came to their defense, just enough to avoid their complete annihilation, but it hadn't ended there. A complete military occupation was centered in every single major city. The military occupation was watching every bit of the nation for signs when the Avatar would be born. The worst thing, however, was what Ozai planned on doing. He wasn't a dumb man. He knew that if word of his conquest spread to the Iron Fist, his rule would come to a swift and painful end. Him and his powerful friends were, as much as Ozai hated to admit it, far above his league. So, Ozai went to dark magic, stolen from the city of Konzi. Magic that would seal cities off and make sure that no creature ever got in or out. They could never get help, they could never leave. And the now 6 heavenly cities knew that without their champions, they would fall within a matter of years, and Ozai would make sure to hunt them all down as quickly as possible once everything was sealed off. Their fall was all but inevitable, especially without the aid of the Iron Fist, and they wouldn't have time to train any new guardians fighting him, and they all knew it. The end was nigh, so, in a last-ditch effort to save their homes, to have someone free and willing to come back and save them eventually, their city members were evacuated as quick as possible, young and old alike, as many as possible before the cities were locked away forever. Among these individuals was a young girl, Top Beifong of Omashu, barely 4 years old and blind as a bat. Despite her family's hesitance, she learned to go out, to use the chi inherent in her body to see, like the giant moles that were incredibly populous within her city's walls. Her parents, on the other hand, would be unable to leave the city in time, leaving the girl alone in a world that she didn't fully understand. Thankfully, the young Beifong would be taken in by a wanderer, someone who knew of her home and the magic within it, and the world on the outside. This person knew what it meant that nobody would ever walk within the heavenly cities once more, and what it meant that she was one of the last carriers of her type of chi.